afternoon and salam. I am Miriam Afolabi, a member of the Macfest team. Welcome to Macfest 2021. Macfest is delighted to celebrate its first Arab Heritage Festival, and we are thrilled to present a range of wonderful performances. I would like the audience to request our audience to please follow Macfest on our social media so that you will always be notified about our upcoming events. All our events are free and we dearly welcome donations. These help us as we are short of funding. Now, I am thrilled to invite Qaisra Shahraz MBE, our Macfest Executive Director and International Novelist, who will welcome on behalf of Macfest and say a few words. Thank you, Qaisra. You're muted, Qaisra.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mariam. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good morning, because I know somebody joining us from Los Angeles. Good afternoon and good evening to those who are joining us, for example, from Indonesia, and of course, all our wonderful guests in the UK. So welcome again to Macfest 2021 event, another event. But you know what? We've got a very special event today, a very special welcome to our first Arab Heritage Festival. We are actually launching it today, and we have an amazing week of 4 events celebrating the Arab culture and heritage and our Arab communities in the UK as well as abroad. So we bring you a feast of poetry, of art, history, culture, cuisine, and music. A warm welcome to all our presenters today who are joining us from different places. For example, we've got Nura joining us from Glasgow, mashallah. We've got Zahra joining us from Los Angeles, Hanan, Lohaib, and Hind from Manchester. And they're all going to present you with these amazing presentations. I'm telling you, it's going to be a real feast. Unfortunately, one of our presenters couldn't make it, Dr. Zohor from France, due to technical issues. So now I'm going to introduce you to our very chief guest. A very warm welcome to Paul Griffiths, a dear personal friend and a dear supporter of Macfest. He actually kick-started the whole Macfest on the very first day at the Whitford Art Gallery, and he's delighted to join us for the first Arab Heritage Festival that we're launching today. So that is special role. Equally, we are delighted that we've got Afzal Khan, our local MP, a dear friend, and also an equal supporter of Macfest from day one. And he's been attending many of our festivals as well. And he's got a flavor of quite a few of them. And he definitely wanted to join this one as well. And now, finally, a very warm welcome to all our attendees. I gather there are a lot of new attendees as well who will be joining us later today, as well as those who have been following us, including Bang, for example, from Jakarta, who's here. So warm welcome again, everybody, and enjoy the evening and the feast that we're offering you. So Mariam, back to you. Thank you so much for hosting us. I know you stepped in at the last minute, but I know you'll do a fabulous job as you always do. Okay, so Mariam, back to you again.
Thank you, Qaisra. So now we take you to Iraq with Dr. Nura Algalani from the Glasgow University, who will speak to us about Arabian artifacts. So before I hand over to her, I would like to say a few words about her. Dr. Algalani has been a curator of Islamic civilizations at Glasgow Museum since 2003. She interprets Islamic art and culture, both ancient and modern, through research, exhibitions, and a variety of educational activities and public events. Nura gained a bachelor's in interior design from the College of Fine Arts, Baghdad University, a master's in museum studies at the Institution of Archaeology, University College London, and a PhD in theology from Glasgow University in 2016. Her work experience in Iraq included furniture design and folk art preservation. From 1994 to 1996, Nura was project officer at the Grange Museum of Community History, London Borough of Brent, and assistant curator at the Ancient Monuments Laboratory, English Heritage. From 1996 to 2003, she was the curator of John Wesley's House and the Museum of Methodism, London. You agree with me that that's such an impressive CV that she has there. So thank you very much, Dr. Nura, for joining us today, and over to you.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. I will share my screen. Thank you. Well, I have the challenge today of introducing the Arab collections at Glasgow Museums. Glasgow Museums is a public service. It comprises some 9 museums that cover various histories, local, national, and international. So this collection that I will show you samples of are part of our World Culture and Civilizations collections. And I chose very few, as I only have 12 minutes to explore them with you, but I hope you will enjoy them. The sources of these materials that you will see are varied. Some of them have been gifts and donations by individuals related to the city of Glasgow and who like to leave this material for the city. Some have been part of systematic collecting by professional curators in the museum service, and some have been purchases where the museum service would approach or go out to purchase material. The Arab world, as we have tried to define it, are the countries that are between Iraq and Morocco, from east to west, and between Syria and Somalia from north to south. So I'm sure most of you will recognize the 23 countries or so that represent the Arab world. And the material we have from the Arab world is varied. Some of it is ethnographic. Some of it belongs to social history of communities of recent times, and some of it is art and archaeology. So quite varied. I hope you will enjoy these few slides that I will share with you. So I thought I'd start with Iraq, given I've come from there, but also the Abbasid period represented the peak of Arab civilization, as many Arabs define it. And in that period, between the 8th and the 10th centuries, many parts of the world were connected through this Arab civilization based in, oriented in Baghdad, but of course spread across the world. And the dirham, the currency, the silver currency here, and the dinar, the golden currency that was used by the Abbasids, was found all over the world and is a representative of the contact, the commodities that moved across the world, the craftsmen that crossed this part of the world, and also the ideas and influences that they carried with them that we can see through the material culture we'll view in a moment. So, like most big city museums, Glasgow Museum's collections, because they are largely dependent on donations and on gifts, are not comprehensive historically. So we are strong in some parts and weak in others. And that all depends on opportunities of collecting that present themselves to a city museum. So I don't have every Arab country, but I hope what you will see will represent the Arab world. Syria and Egypt are the two that appear in our collections very well. And here you see a lusterware vase with a hair running across it from Fatimid Egypt, and a blue and black bowl from Raqqa in Syria. Made during the Ayyubid period. They represent the movement of craftsmen and of technologies. They're both made of material that was invented in Iraq to try and replicate or imitate Chinese ceramic bodies. And this unique body, a fritware, then its technology was taken across the Middle East into North Africa and beyond that. And here, these two items show the types of ceramics and the shapes that they were forming. Metal workers were also craftsmen who exchanged ideas and technologies. These craftsmen were highly skilled and were specifically specialized in aspects of the production. So the calligrapher who would design the motif on the vessels had his speciality. The engraver, the caster, the inlayer of silver, and the inlayer of tar or niello, and various other black substances were all specific professions within the craftsmanship of metalworking. And these objects represented a collaborative approach of work amongst Arab craftsmen. They were also responding to what customers need, and their customers varied. Some of the rulers, although were not Arab, were patronizing Arab crafts and arts and society. And so the candlestick base that you see here on the right was made in response to the patronage of a Mamluk ruler in Egypt. And the spherical incense burner that you see on the left was made by Arab craftsmen in Damascus and also in Cairo to please Genoese traders who wanted these spherical incense burners for trading in Southern Europe. And you can see the inside of the spherical bowl, which shows a mechanical gimbal that allows the pot that holds the incense to remain upright no matter how you rolled the incense burner across the floor. And that represents the technological achievements of the Middle East, inspired by other parts of the world. Back to Syria here, and the ceramics production moved beyond vessels to tiles and architecture, and the influence of the Ottomans and their patronage in the Arab world meant the production of various styles local to centers of production. And here we see two examples of Damascus tile work produced locally by Ottoman craftsmen who had learned their skill from predecessors who came all the way from Turkey to establish workshops in Damascus to create pottery for the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. These descendants of those original potters remained in Damascus, taught other craftsmen, and the whole industry was created. And of course, many buildings in Syria today still have this tile work from the Ottoman period. Now we go to somewhere different, the Sudan. The northern part of the Sudan is an Arab part, but of course many ethnic groups live in that huge country with many subcultures. And the material we have from the Sudan is has a dual history. It's also, it forms part of the history of Britain as a colonial power that ruled over that part of the world. And this material that we have comes from a famous campaign that unfortunately led to the loss of territory for some of the Sudanese and of course the winning of battles on behalf of the British. And it is the Durman Campaign and the various battles that happened in the 18 80s and 90s, culminating with the final battle led by Kitchener in 1898 and 99. The material we have is of ethnographic style and shows the regional and local craftsmanship of the Sudan and the influences of the Sudanic cultures in East Africa. And here we have a flag from the campaign that was carried by the Mahdist army, who followed Muhammad Ahmed al-Mahdi, who was the leader of the Ansar, campaigning against the Turco-Egyptian rule and also then the Anglo-Egyptian rule of Egypt and the Sudan in the late 19th century. The garment is a dervish garment, so worn by a Sufi member of the Ansar movement as an army uniform. And the pieces of wood are what we could call battlefield material, where the demolition of the shrine of the founder of the Mahdist movement resulted in the removal of some of the wood paneling there. This shared history comes to us in this case 31 objects, some of which you saw in the previous slide, and here this paper amulet is one. This material came to us through a journalist who had to go and cover the war, and he was a Glaswegian. And as a Glaswegian, he purchased some of this material once the battlefield was cleared by the British Army and an organized auction of the material of the battlefield was conducted in situ in the Sudan. So Bennett Graham Burley is the journalist who covered for the Daily Telegraph the campaigns that happened in the Sudan, and collected this material and donated some of it, 31 pieces, to Glasgow Museums, the city of his birth. And so we have evidence of the involvement of the Scottish regiments and of the coverage through this material culture. And through it, we can explore both histories, the Sudanese story of the Mahdist resistance and the Scottish story of the regiments that participated in these campaigns. I move on to a different type of art from the Arab world, and that is music. And we have a small group of Arab musical instruments collected by a famous Glasgow-based musicologist, Henry George Farmer, who wrote his PhD on Arabic music, its origins, and the influences it has had on European music and other parts of the world. He donated his collection and his archive to both Glasgow University and to Glasgow Museums. And so we have a group of Arab instruments through him. This is a joza, or a kamanja if you are Persian or Turk. And it has 3 strings stretched on it. The object, although made in the 17th century, in the 1690s, it was owned at some point in the 19th century by a Georgian musician. And he has left his mark on the silver casing that you see in the detail above by writing 2 couplets of poetry that name him as the owner of the instrument. So this Mosul instrument has traveled all the way into the Caucasus to be played there. And finally, modern art. Many Arab artists today practice in a mixed environment, culturally mixed environment. Ahmed Mustafa, an Egyptian artist, has been practicing his printmaking and painting in London since the 1970s. He is a graduate of the Western academic art institutions and has a PhD in the subject as well. But he is also a traditional calligraphist, Arabic calligraphist, and so has combined his neoclassical European art skills and his Arabic calligraphy in creating modern art. I conclude with this. I hope that you have had a nice idea of what the range and the variety of Arab material culture and art.
Wow, Dr. Galani, that was very interesting and very incredibly informative. Thank you very much for taking the time to deliver this wonderful presentation. So now we're delighted to welcome again our chief guest speaker, Paul Griffiths, who is the Deputy Lord Lieutenant of Greater Manchester and a key supporter of Macfest. Thank you for presiding over the event, Paul, and we really appreciate your support and interest in our festival. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Mariam. Very kind of you. And thank you, Dr. Nura, for that wonderful presentation. Fascinating, beautiful, beautiful artifacts. Really lovely. Thank you. It gives me the greatest possible pleasure this afternoon to launch this inaugural Arab Heritage Festival. As Qaisra said at the beginning, this wonderful Macfest initiative has brought many benefits to many thousands of people already since its formation a few short years ago. And all credit to that, of course, goes to Qaisra, whose idea it was. Well, today we've already witnessed some wonderful Arab heritage in all its diverse beauty, in all its forms. And I'm quite sure that the rest of the presenters today will combine with what we've seen already to put together something that's going to be quite special. A warm welcome from me, of course, but also a very warm welcome from our Lord Lieutenant here in Greater Manchester, Sir Warren Smith. Himself also a big supporter of the Macfest initiative, and I know he'll be keenly listening to these presentations today because they are truly exceptional. He sends his warm wishes to everyone, whether you are in Los Angeles or whether you are, as Nora is, in Glasgow. It's a fabulous opportunity for us to come together. So wherever in the world you are, a very warm welcome to you. This celebration of our Muslim Arab communities is going to both enchant and enthrall us. There's no doubt about that. It has started off so well. We've seen so much beauty already. And we will also experience lots of other arts and cultural experiences. Poetry from Palestine, I think poetry from Morocco, if I'm not mistaken. We'll learn about the significance of tiling and about the wonders of architecture. And I think it's such a beautiful experience to visualize and see these wonderful collections for ourselves through the facilities of this Macfest Arab Heritage Festival. And I know that later in proceedings, we will be entertained from Los Angeles, which will be nice, with this American-Moroccan musical entertainment. So it gives me a real pleasure to officially launch this Macfest Arab Festival. Especially, thank you to everyone who's contributing today. Thank you, Nora, for your contribution already. Thank you, Qaisra, for your initiative in founding Macfest in the first place. And I wish everyone today the very best of success. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Pleasure.
Next, we welcome Hind Gailey, who will be speaking about the use of Henna in Sudanese cultural weddings. Before I hand over to Hind, I'd like to say a few words about her. Hind Gailey graduated with a degree from Affad University for Women in Sudan, School of organizational management. She has been teaching in the Manchester Sudanese Supplementary School for more than 13 years and is currently a teaching assistant in the Plymouth Grove Primary School for 4 years. Over to you, Hind, to tell us more about henna in Sudanese culture.
Hi everyone, Assalamu alaikum. I'll speak about one of the culture and traditions of Sudanese, and it's henna. And I'll take you through my videos and presentation and slideshow. Sorry about that. Okay. I can share it. Sorry, I'd like to stop share and start it from the beginning. Sorry for that inconvenience. About henna. Henna is a tree. It's called Leucaena anerimus, and it looks like this. And can you see the whole slide?
Yes, we can.
Okay. What is a henna? Henna is a plant that grows in hot, dry climates. The leaves are harvested, dried, and ground into a fine powder that is made into a paste and used to dye hair, skin, even fingernails. There are two types of henna. Sudanese henna. One is natural and the other one is chemical one. As you can see, the henna, natural henna, is like a powder, and this is a packet of it, and this is a paste, and the chemical one is, these are two common ones. Natural henna patterns. Natural henna is extremely safe and has been used as a natural form of body art for thousands of years. It mixes with water, sugar, and essential oils to get the proper consistency. Chemical henna is mixed with water and some oil too. And to get this pattern, you have to use like some tapes. As you can see in the left bottom on the screen here, there's a tape. There's a lady applied the tape on the feet before applying henna, and it's like you apply henna after that, and this could give you many different type of shapes. The first, the top ones, right top hand corner, it's the plain ones, no pattern. The first layer should be red, and the second layer, as you see here, is a second layer which is black. These different patterns. Chemical henna patterns look like this. But you can see the difference between the natural and chemical one. The chemical one is just you can do it first one layer, and it's after you put it, it's just 1 hour or 2 hours. It's just completely black. But the natural one need more time to get black color. There are two types of henna time. Henna time, a natural henna, it takes about 3 hours for the first or second layer, and the chemical henna it takes about 1 to 2 hours, and it depends on the weather. If the weather is hot, you can put it for less hours. Some ingredients might help to make natural henna dark and shiny like hibiscus, and the oil as well. There's some specific oil called suratia, those two. And we've got ammonia powder. Ammonia powder, you can apply before or after putting henna, and this will give you, from the first layer, it gives you the black color after few hours. No, probably you don't have to do the second layer unless late or second day. Who henna is for? Henna for everyone. Married women, they put it in their hands and feet. Men, when they get married, once on hands and feet. Children, they put it in their hands. And you can recognize that this woman is married by seeing this woman putting her henna on her feet. But just for only married women, and they put it regularly, like once a week or twice a week. And it's one of our beautician, like makeup or anything like this. We put natural henna, and in special occasions like weddings or any other parties, we put chemical ones.
Hein, sorry, your slides are cropped there.
Okay.
We're only seeing part of them.
Shall I stop share and start from there?
Yeah, I think so.
Right up to... Is that all right? Can you see it now?
Yes,
Yep,
that's
that looks
better.
better.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
Was it like this from the beginning?
Yes, we were, but thank you. It's okay.
I did ask you.
You can carry on. We got the gist of it.
Oh, sorry about that. The bride and the bridegroom, henna. The bride usually uses the chemical one, while the groom uses the natural one. It looks like this. This video shows the bride's henna day. The groom's henna. The groom's henna, the groom's relatives, female relatives, usually the elders, they apply henna for the groom and his friends. As you can see, the bottom picture here, applying to the groom and his friends. It looks like this when they put it, and this black color when they do it twice. The groom's henna day. This video shows the groom's henna day. Thank you for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. I really loved it. Hind.
Thank you very much, Hinda, for sharing the beautiful Henna art and Sudanese culture. Everyone really enjoyed it. So many people asking questions in the chat. I think if you would like to answer them for them, thank you. So next, we welcome Afzal Khan, CBE and Member of Parliament as our guest speaker. Afzal Khan is MP for Manchester Gortin and the Shadow Deputy Leader of the House of Commons and a huge supporter of Macfest. Today is joining Paul and Qaisra in launching the first Arab Heritage Festival for Macfest. Thank you, Afzal Khan, for joining us again, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Mariam. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to everyone, and maybe different time zone for people who are not in Europe. I'm delighted that I'm here to join you once again, and I really want to say a big thank you to Qaisra and the team, because I think what they are doing here in Manchester of having this so many different Macfest festivals, bringing to us the whole world, that is amazing. And of course, we have the beauty of this technology as well, where people from all over the world too can join us. So thank you for inviting me here. And I think there's no doubt that where we are in the world, I've always said that in a sense, we are special, we're unique as human beings, but the time that we are living in now, the whole world has become a village. We are so much connected, interdependent on one another. And that requires for us to really understand one another more. And that, of course, also enriches us. So the more steps we take towards others, it builds our understanding and enriches our life first before anybody else benefits. So in that sense, it's a win-win idea. And I think what Qaisra is doing is absolutely incredible. You know, today is 9/11, where we mark the 20th anniversary where 3,000 innocent people's lives were lost. And then in reaction to that, what we've seen is millions of innocent people's lives have also been lost. And countries from Afghanistan to Iraq to Libya to Syria, Yemen, we're seeing the impact. And the people who have hate, whichever camp they come from, they spread that hate. And that hate, it has actually impact on people's life. This Thursday, we were debating the question of Islamophobia in Britain and the need to counter that. Again, the viewers who are joining us here, what we're seeing is year after year, the highest number of hate crimes are being committed against Muslims. And at the heart of this is, lack of understanding. So having events like Macfest, where you bring to us this huge, rich culture that exists in the world. And it also actually, end of the day, reminds us that the civilizations are actually connected. We build from one another. And today we are celebrating the Arab civilization. Where we are today, we wouldn't be here if it had not been for the Arab civilization. I remember when in 2005, I was the Lord Mayor of Manchester. I had the honor then to launch 1,001 inventions of the Muslims. And if any of you who are from Manchester ever go to the British Muslim Heritage Center, you will see there is an exhibition, House of Wisdom. And if you look around that exhibition also, what comes across is how we are connected actually, how so many things which we use every day are actually, their roots are connected to the Muslim world. Even this camera that we're using now to reach out to one another actually is invented from the Muslim world. So science and medicine, perfumes, soaps, carpets, coffee we love having every day, it's all actually connected to the Muslim world. We often forget that history, and that's why I love what the work Qaisra is actually doing. And I'll just leave you with one little thing just to remind people and for people to reflect actually how deeply we're connected. This whole system of technology which is used these days relies on the idea of zero. Guess what? It's the Muslim civilization which brought zero here in the West. If we had not had zero, we would still be stuck with the Roman numbers. And you cannot operate any modern system with Roman numbers. It's only through zero that you're able to do that. So Qaisra, well done. Well done to your team as well. Keep up this good work. We are all proud of your work in Manchester because we love diversity. We celebrate the diversity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Afzalhan, as always.
Thank you very much, Akan, for your stimulating speech. Macfest is really grateful for all your support. Next, we have Luaib Aboud, who is also from Iraq, like Dr. Algalani. She has lived in Dubai for 13 years before moving to the UK in 2014. Luaib is a biomedical scientist and an abstract painter artist who is inspired by flowers and nature. Today, she will be giving us a presentation about our latest art pieces. Over to you, Luaib.
Hello, everyone. I'm Luhaib from Baghdad, Iraq, living in the UK for 7 years now. And I would love to share with you my artworks today in this amazing event. Today, I'd love to share with you two of my artworks. The first one is She is Blooming, and the second one, Spring Soul. That's my first artwork, She's Blooming. I chose dark green to represent the hard times, since dark represents struggles. However, I chose green even though it's dark, but her soul has always loved life and she always had hope for the future. So green reflects her passion for life and new beginnings. The orange represents her nourishment through the small flowers here. The orange has been extended to her new life here. And finally, gold represent the peak of her nourishments. And coming to the next one, the second artwork, Spring Soul. When your soul be represented by flowers, butterflies, and spring colors, it's literally a spring soul. Hope you enjoyed my artwork. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for sharing beautiful art piece with us. So next up, we take you to Morocco with Henna El Adoui, a dear member of the Macfest team who has been helping with social media, video editing, and presenting events. She also works with the Heart and Parcel as a support manager and a coordinator. Today, she will be sharing some beautiful Arabic poetry with us. Over to you, Hanan.
Thank you, Mariam. Thank you to everyone. And salam. And good afternoon to all people around the world. First of all, I'm really delighted to take part in Arabic Heritage Week to promote communal harmony and help to preserve our culture and heritage. Also, building social relationship and expanding our communication, which leads to unity among the Muslim and non-Muslim people. And Macfest is an example by spreading honey, not hate. I'm grateful to Macfest and especially Qaisra Shahraz for giving me this opportunity to express myself and share my thoughts and feeling with you through my reflections and what Robert Frost said, poetry is when an emotion has found a thought and the thought has found words. My first poem is Dawn of New Life, which talk about putting our souls to peace by starting a new beginning, but also remembering our lovely memories during difficult times. Please, Steve.
Hello, everyone. I'm
صباح حياة جديدة. أضعنا الكثير من الوقت ونحن نحاول فهم الحياة لدرجة أننا نسينا أن نعيشها أو نستمتع بها. ليتنا في كل صباح جديد نولد من جديد بطفولة جديدة، بأحلام وردية تراود مخيلتنا، بمشاعر صادقة نابعة من إنسانيتنا. ليتنا نولد أشخاصاً آخرين مختلفين عما كنا عليه بالأمس. ليتنا نولد غداً بصباح جديد تملأه الأمنيات لسفننا المشرعة في المراسي. يبزغ فجر جديد حاملاً معه كل الذكريات الجميلة، يخبرنا بأن كل الأمنيات ستتحقق وترسو السفن. تلتقي المشاعر الصادقة بإنصاف القلوب الحزينة ونعالق الحياة مع الأمل المشرق. ليتنا في كل صباح جديد نقطف من بستان الحياة ورود، لحظات حلوة اختلينا مع أنفسنا، تمازجت أرواحنا مع النغمات الحلوة، التقينا بالأحبة كلقاء الروح بالجسد، فتناثرت أجمل الكلمات وأرق الابتسامات، اختلت أرواحنا للسلم الداخلي، عانقنا الحرية من قيود ومتاعب الحياة. نعم، ننتظر بحب، نعم، ننتظر بمودة، نعم، ننتظر بإخلاص، نعم، ننتظر الصباح الجديد بشغف، نعم، بشغف كالطفل المتعطش للحياة. Dawn of a new life. We wasted so much time trying to understand the meaning of life that we forgot to enjoy it. I wish every new morning we are reborn as a new childhood with the pink dreams from our imagination, with the sincere emotions sprouting from our humanity. I wish we are reborn as different people from yesterday. I wish we could be born to the new morning with the hope filling our veins to make our boats sail from the docks. A new dawn is rising with all the lovely memories. He telling us all of our wishes will come true. Now all of our boats reach their destination. True feelings are met with a fearful heart, hug life with a bright hope. I wish we had a new morning. We take roses from the garden of life. Sweet moments with ourselves, our souls, combined with the sweet sounds of happiness. We meet our loved ones like souls touch the body, dispersing the finest and the beautiful words. Our souls chose the inner peace. We embrace freedom from the constraints and the trouble of life. We wait with love, we wait with affection, we wait with sincerity, we wait passionately like an innocent child thirsty of love. Please, Steve, the second poem is Woman to Woman. All this is my message to all women around the world. من امرأة إلى امرأة، على إيقاع خيوط الشمس الدافئة وهمس رائحة القهوة العربية ونسمات الشتاء الباردة، أصبحت للحروف روح تنبض بالحب والحياة، لتكتب كلمات لأجمل امرأة هي أنت، فكوني مشرقة مهما استبد بك الضجر، كوني بلسما يهدي السرور لمن عبر، اغرسي لنفسك صالحا تلقي به طيب الأثر، كوني موقنة أن الحياة هنا ممر، أنت المرأة الصادقة في زمن المرايا المزورة، أنت رواية ألف ليلة وليلة، يا أجمل لؤلؤة في محارة، يا من تكره الأقنعة والأضواء المستعارة، كوني حنونة أنت دفء أوراق الشجر، لو سافرت للسماء لجلست مكان القمر، أنت قصيدة تمشي معشوقة القوام، كقطعة موسيقية تعزف أحلى الأنغام، قلبك مدينة بيوتها المحبة وطرقها التسامح والعفو، أنت القلب الحي النابض بالنقاء والحياة، الله جعل لك في القرآن سورة باسمك، ووصية الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم استوصوا بالنساء خيرا، فافتخري بكونك أنثى، فأنت الأم الأخت والزوجة. Woman to woman, on the rhythm of the sun's warm threads, whispered the aroma of Arabic coffee, the breeze of the cold winters. Letters have a spirit of love and life, who write in words of the most beautiful woman you are. Be bright no matter how bored you are. Be balsam to those across your road. Plant yourself in a righteous shade. Be sure life here is a passage. You are the honest woman in the age of the forged mirrors. You are the 1001 Night novel. You are the most beautiful pear in oyster. You hate masks and borrowed lights. You are as affectionate as the warm leaves. If you had traveled to the sky, you would be sitting in the moon. You are a poem working with the law of shape as a piece of music playing the sweetest tones. Your heart is the city of love. Their ways are tolerance and forgiveness. You are the living, vibrant heart of purity and life. God made you in the Quran surah in your name. The real Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam treats women kindly. Be proud of being female. You are the mother, the wife, the sister, and the daughter. Thank you so much for listening. And I want just to share with you something. Celebrating Art Heritage Week, please join us to experience the sweet and the savory recipes from the Arab world of Egypt and Morocco. Just I will share with you short video is a teaser toward events on Thursday, 16 September at 6 p.m. Please book your ticket if you want to see more about food, places, recipes, and culture. I will share with you now my video. Thank you so much for listening. It's over to you, Mariam. Thank you.
Wow, Hannah, that was very wonderful, and there was a really beautiful poem about women. And also, if you want to hear more about the Arabic cuisine, please do join us on Thursday, Thank you again, Hanan. So next up is Bison Arafat, who will be speaking about embroidery in the Palestinian culture and tradition. A few words about Bison before I hand over to her. Bison Arafat is a graduate of Jordan University, where she majored in visual design in 2006. She further obtained a master's degree in screen design for film and television from Kingston University, London in 2009, before working as a lecturer in the School of Design and Visual Communication at the German Jordanian University. Bison is currently settled in the UK and finishing a PhD degree in visual and material culture at the Manchester Fashion Institute. Over to you, Bison.
Thank you so much, Mariam. Hello, everyone. I want to share my screen with you now. It's my pleasure to be part of the Macfest today for this year. And I'm so happy that my parents are watching me from abroad, so I say salam for my parents. Okay. Can you see the screen properly?
Yes, we can.
Brilliant. So I want to take you today on the traditional Palestinian textiles and heritage. Basically, I'm Palestinian. I'm from the north of Palestine, more specifically from a city called Tulkarem. Today, I'm wearing one of those beautiful dresses from Tulkarem area. My great-grandma made it for me. She sewed it for me. I can show you some more in this slideshow. So basically, after the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948, Palestine suffered a drastic social, economic, and political transformation. The constant social, political, and cultural threats have increased the Palestinians' awareness of the importance and sensitivity of cultural identity. So we call this as a Palestinians the erased map, unfortunately. What happened because of the occupation? Basically, the occupation led to displaced identity. It destroyed and abandoned villages, which made the original people of Palestine refugees in other neighboring countries. This also affected our visual culture and the traditional modes of dress and art of embroidery, where only women in refugee camps kept on embroidering in an attempt to maintain their displaced identity. Palestinians or Palestine has 5 main distinct regions. Each used to have its unique costume designs by which Palestinians were able to distinguish the identity and region of its wearer. And until 1940, traditional customs used to also reflect a woman's economic and marital status. This was easily distinguished from the fabric, for example, from the cut of the dress, the motifs, and the embroidery in it. So looking at the picture here, for Maha Saqqa, which is a very well-known curator in Palestine and researcher, and looking at the beautiful dresses behind her, each dress represents a specific area in Palestine. Let's take you now to the traditional dresses. You can see that they were made of different elements, okay, that were assembled after the fabric has been embroidered. So the fabric is embroidered first, and then we assemble all the panels and pieces all together. The different parts of the dress were attached by different kind of stitches. So we also have different kinds of stitches. Starting with the chest panel, as you can see, I'm not sure if you're seeing me in the slide, but looking at the slide here, that's the main and most important panel of the dress. This chest panel actually is considered, as I said, an important part of the dress. The colors and motifs of the chest panel differ from village to another and used to be an indicator of the wearer's financial status and personal skills. Then we have the shoulder pieces. The shoulder pieces is those pieces here, or as you can see, are the gray parts of the dress here. The shoulder pieces is the decorative piece of the dress, and it is also used as a protection from hair dye, as well as tear and wear around the neckline. Then comes the sleeves. The sleeves are two main types. There are two main types of the sleeves, which clearly identify the village or region of the dress. The long pointed sleeves, or as we call it, the Palestinians, irdan, have pointed ends, which were usually left unembroidered to make it easier for women to tie this part of the sleeves behind her back when she used to work in the farm. So as you can see me now as well, I remember my grandma used to do this. So those are the pointed sleeves. She used to tie it like this. And then she used to put it on the back. So those beautiful detachable sleeves are shown now. And she used to work in the field. So that's why those elongated sleeves, pointed sleeves, are not usually embroidered. Okay. After that, we have these side panels of the dress or of the skirt, or as we also call it, the Banaire, which you can see here. Those side panels were made of triangular pieces of variety of fabrics that were usually embroidered. Their main purpose basically is, to widen the base of the dress for ease of movement as well. After the Banaire, we have the front side of the dress, or the hijr. The hijr is the front part here. And I have another beautiful dress to show today. This dress is 100 years old, and it's basically from the southern of Palestine. Southern of Palestine is known to be rich, the dresses is rich in embroidery. So this is the hijr, okay, of the dress. The hijr of the dress is basically the most, it's very important. It has two elongated lines of embroidery on both sides of this dress. Finally, we have the same exact embroidery, but on the back of the dress. This is also one of it is classified as one of the most important parts of the dress, as it showcased the skills of the woman who embroidered it and was usually the most critiqued part. If someone will ask me why would the most important part be on the back and not on the front, because like it is considered as like disrespectful to look at women from the front. So usually they show their beautiful embroidery from the back of the dress, especially for men. Okay. After that, we have the natural dyes that we use in this beautiful embroidery in Palestine. As you can see here, like the natural dyes are basically produced from local plants and insects. The yellow dress here, the yellow threads here are basically made from saffron flowers. We have also the red. Red was produced by mixing pomegranates and insects. We also have the purple, the beautiful purple. And purple is very famous in Gaza area, by the way. So purple is used from crushed murex shells. And finally, we have indigo. Indigo, the blue one here. Indigo was made from a plant that was cultivated in the Jordan River Valley. The darker, the more expensive, by the way. The darker the color, the more expensive, because it used to take them several dye baths to achieve those deep shades of indigo. Looking at those two beautiful dresses underneath, those are also from the southern area from Palestine. Palestinian embroidery has been distinguished by its variety of colors. And for example, red as a color has been the most predominant used color and has been the color to represent happiness and joy, as well as virginity. But for example, the widow in some certain tribes not allowed to wear red. So she used to re-dye the red threads into indigo again and dark shades of blue. If she wants to remarry, by the way, she used to add another stitches of embroidery in red. This is an indicator that she either got married or she is planning to marry again. So it has also the color symbolism in the Palestinian traditional costumes is just magnificent. After that, we have the symbolic designs motifs and patterns are considered as key elements of Palestinian embroidery. And as you can see, embroidery was influenced from social interaction, travel, European presence, and intermarriages from an area to another area. It was also inspired from nature. It was inspired from the trees, flowers around us, animals as well. Also like some myths and superstitions behind those symbols. For example, I want to show you some humorous influences, religious influences, and political influences. I know that you can't interact with me in this webinar, but for example, one of the humor influences that we have in our embroidery is the two birds facing off each other. And this actually shows the type of relation that the bride and her mother-in-law have. Another humor influence that we also have is the zigzag pattern. And this zigzag pattern in the Bedouin embroidery, for example, reflects the pattern goats make when urinating. We have a beautiful religious beliefs as well. Looking here at those two parts, as I think you can see different colored of embroidery cross stitches here, and then again here, based on strong religious beliefs and mainly for marriage customs. A deliberate mark of imperfection would be stitched on each of those beautiful dresses. And this is to express the imperfection of human, and that perfection was only ascribed to God, subhanahu, so God, and to avoid potential jinxes by distracting the focus of the people. So to avoid evil eye as well. And we believe that only God is perfect, and humans, we are not perfect. So we leave those marks in purpose as well. The political influence, I'm not going to talk a lot about politics here. As you can see here, those are the officers' badge, as they call it, and those were influenced from the British mandatory military uniforms. So those are the part of the Palestinian dress from the front side, and those they were used after the British officers' badge. We also have, can you see those squares, beautiful squares here of the dress? And this dress is mainly from Hebron. Those symbols are called the Pasha's tents, and it's also a reference to Ottoman occupation. So here's the tent. Imagine it having like a top view, and those are the Pasha's tents basically, and those are very popular in Hebron area, which is in the central of Palestine. I know I said I'm not going to talk about politics, but I can't just run away from the Intifada or the uprising that happened in 1987. By the way, Palestinians were not allowed to use the flag colors. They were not allowed to go into demonstrations and hold the flags. So what Palestinian women actually did, they started embroidering the Palestinian flags, the Dome of the Rock, the maps, as you can see it here, branches of olives, and like Arabic calligraphy that says we will return or we shall return. And they say they can take away our flags, but they just can't take away our costumes and dresses. So we called this the Intifada dress, which, as I said, became popular in 1987 after the first uprising and Intifada. And we use it now as a symbol of Palestine and the Palestinian resistance. Finally, I wanted to show you a very short trailer, which is called Stitching Palestine. I'm only limited in time, but we can one day actually, I can take part of another Macfest event and we can show you the whole documentary, because it's a very important documentary. It talks about, the importance that the art of embroidery plays in the lives of Palestinian women. In this documentary, 12 Palestinian women sit before us and talk of their life before the diaspora, of their memories, of their lives, and of their identity. Their narratives are connected by the enduring thread of the ancient art of embroidery. 12 resilient, determined, and articulate women from desperate walks of life, just like lawyers, artists, housewives, activists, architects, and politicians, stitch through their stories. The individual weaves into the collective, yet remaining distinctly personal. 12 women, 12 lifespans and stories from Palestine, a land whose position was fixed on the map of the world, but is now embroidered on its face. I will play it now. It's only 2 minutes, I think.
وين البيت؟ بالقدس. أنا كتير قدسية.
أنا ما تركت ما تركونا.
فكرت إنه راح أروح ل6 أشهر فقط وانغرمت بفلسطين، بس طبعا هم رايحين على أساس إنه بدهم يرجعوا مثل باقي الناس وضلوا هم. كل يوم أنا مروحة هيك بهدي السيارة شوي بطلع على القدس هيك باخذ نفس غميق بقول عشان هيك أنا هون.
And I think that everything wrong in the world you can see in Palestine, whether it's racism, discrimination, economic segregation.
كانوا يتجمعوا النسوان قدام البيوت بفلسطين.
I want to see my house. I said, no, madam, this is our house. We have bought it.
Because you know very well that this is a Palestinian house and that we.
نحن بالقدس بذكرونا بوجود الاحتلال كل يوم لأنه القمع مستمر كل يوم. My father built this house.
عندي طول فلسطيني خبى على طول بالخزاني. أهم الناس اللي بحياتي صاروا صور. بحبهم كثير لأنه غير متطلبين.
بتذكر هذه اللحظة إنه هذا مش إلكم، اللي إلكم بفلسطين.
يعني هذه نفس الأم اللي قدرت تشتغل بالسر تعيش عائلة، اللي قدرت تواجه الجيش لما أجوا مرة وأخذوا يضربوا أبوي. هذه بلدي وأنا ماشي مثل لكني فارة بهالبلد.
I remember my mother never stopped crying.
من أول الطريق لآخر الطريق.
I'm finishing my PhD in the Palestinian studies, and I'm basically preserving the Palestinian traditional costumes, especially their wedding costumes, and I'm trying to modernize them, however, to keep their main key elements through sustained processes. So hopefully, maybe next event, I can also showcase the prototype that I have actually designed for my thesis. And as every Palestinian, we Palestinians, especially who were like displaced all over the world, we want to show everyone what Palestine is. We need to preserve our culture. We need to preserve our identity. And I would love to thank Qaisra again for giving me the chance to talk about the Palestinians and the beautiful traditional heritage we Palestinians have. And thank you again so much for having me, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bisan. And inshallah, on 5th of March, we will showcase your costume that we talked about. So I hope people can join us.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Bisan, for that wonderful presentation and about Palestinian culture. And we really look forward to having you again on the 5th of March. So now, moving on to the next person. Last but not the least is Zahra Bernardo. She was born and raised in Casablanca, Morocco, and she's an alternative pop artist who has been living and working as a musician in Los Angeles for the past 8 years. She has a degree in finance as well as sound engineering, and today she'll be singing for us from Los Angeles in America. Please, let's listen to her lovely voice. Over to you, Zahra.
Hi, thank you so much, Mariam. And thank you to Qaisra for inviting me and
making me part of this event. I'm so glad to be here with you guys today. So I'm going to be doing 2 covers today. The first one is Yesterday by the Beatles.
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, I'm not half the girl I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly. Why had to go, I don't know. He wouldn't say. I said something wrong. Now I long for yesterday. Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Why he had to go, I don't know. He wouldn't say. I said something wrong. Now I long for yesterday. Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Oh, yesterday. Now, on to the next song. It's called City of Stars, and it's from the movie La La Land. It's one of my favorite movies and songs, so I hope you like it. City of stars, are you shining just for me? City of stars, there's so much that I can't see. Who knows? I felt it from the first embrace I shared with you. Then now our dreams may finally come true. City of stars, just one thing everybody wants.
there in the bars and through the smoke screen of the crowded restaurants. It's love. It's all we're looking for is love from someone else. A rush, a glance, a touch, a dance. Look in somebody's eyes to light up the skies, to open the world and send it reeling. A voice that says I'll be here and you'll be alright. I don't care if I know just where I will go, 'cause all that I need, this crazy feeling right down my heart. Think I want it to stay. City of stars, are you shining just for me? City of stars, never shine so brightly. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. And now back to Mariam.
Thank you so much, Zahra, for your amazing performance and your lovely voice. We really did enjoy your songs. Now I'll hand back to Qaisra to thank everyone.
Thank you so much, Mariam. What can I say? It's been an amazing feast for the eyes and for the ears, ending with Zahra. Now, before I thank people, I'd love to invite Paul back, our Deputy Law Lieutenant, our very special guest who has launched the festival, to round off this afternoon. I'm happy that he's also able to speak. So
Thank
Paul,
you.
back over to you.
Thank you so much, Qaisra. I must congratulate you and everyone involved in this wonderful celebration. It has been tremendous.
Oh.
From start to finish, it's been beautiful, lovely, energizing, humbling, and very, very educational. And I think the whole aspect and the different aspects of arts and culture across the whole continent is absolutely incredible. And it's the beauty and the passion and the enthusiasm with which everyone has presented their particular part of this wonderful festival this afternoon has raised my spirits. It's energized me. It's made me feel really very excited about learning more new things and listening to people who really love what they're talking about, love what they're singing about, and have a real passion and commitment to their particular culture. And I'd be very honored and proud to be part of this festival this afternoon. And I do hope that you will invite me to future festivals where I can learn more and celebrate success in the way that you have all done today. Thank you, Qaisra, and thanks to everyone who's presented.
Thank you so much, Paul. Just to remind everybody, I'm going to mention 4 events, and the final event is next Sunday, Arab band, and it's at the Lowry Theatre in Salford. So if you're in the Northwest, guess what? Paul will be there to launch that as well. He's our chief guest there, so you'll see him in live, okay? So let me start again, thanking people. My goodness, you presenters have done an amazing job. As I think Paul has said it all. I couldn't really say better than him. He's put it all in those wonderful words. But thank you for your hard work, for your passion, and you given us a feast. Absolutely. Thank you to you, Paul, for giving us your Saturday, and to Afzal, you know, for joining us and for making it worth our while to have non-Muslims also take part and honor us with it. And then thank you to all the attendees who have joined us, given us their day. I really appreciate that. And thank you to my wonderful team as well, in particular here today, Steve, who's a technical host in the background, who's actually your host technically, and then Mariam, who's hosted this beautifully. And she sort of stepped in at the last minute. So she's done a sterling job as always, mashallah. And just a reminder, so today was our first event celebrating Arab Heritage Festival. And we've got 3 other events. We've got real treats. And we've got two of the speakers here today. On Wednesday, please do join their event. It's Hello from Jordan. And my goodness, they're offering you art, culture, you name it, they're doing everything in it. And the two ladies are Noor from Birmingham, and the other Noor is sitting in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Amazing event to look forward to. And then, of course, the following day on Thursday, we have cuisine from the food of Egypt and Morocco with our ladies Hanan and Ala. And then finally, as I mentioned earlier, we've got the Nile Band. Please, please, if you enjoy music and you live in the Northwest, do join us for this amazing end to our first Arab Heritage Festival. So finally, thank you so much again. Goodbye and assalamu alaikum.